Hello and a very good afternoon to all you viewers. We're back live for game 2 of the day from the state of the art Prairie View Cricket Complex. It's a game between the Houston Stars, who are defending champions at this edition of the HPL, and they are going up against HCL Knights, who pulled off a win in their first game today against the Austin Blasters. Onumuk Chand and Andreas Goss, on behalf of Houston Stars, are at the crease. A steady start for Unmukt. He has made 9 of 9 deliveries, and he's facing, it seems, Nasser Jamali, although his shirt says Jay Desai. Nasser bowling from the highway 290 and left arm over the wicket. Good shape on that delivery. Cramps up Andres, who gets off the mark of the first delivery he faces. The score ticks on to 23 in 3.2 overs. Welcome, Roshan.
Good afternoon.
Your thoughts on this game? The HCL Knights have pulled off a big surprise in the first game, beating the Austin Blasters. But Houston Stars is a really tough opposition. They've got some really good players in their roster.
Absolutely. It's going to be a tough one for the Houston Knights or HCL Knights, who are, half the side is youngsters, and they're dotted with some pros in between. Nasir Jamali, we all know in the Houston Cricket League and in the Texas region. A really good left arm swing bowler, I would say, who likes to swing the ball in. But it's going to be a tough one for the Houston HCL Knights. And Unmuk lets that one go. These two players are in the middle for the Houston Stars, are very experienced. I mean, Unmuk, no introductions needed there. One of the bright stars, U19, I believe it was the 2012 edition. Another one goes past the blade of Unmuk Chand, and that's a very good over, I believe, so far. And Unmuk is that kind of a player who likes to take his time in the beginning and then just a basic or just a classic batsman that we are all accustomed to. And it's a steady start. They have lost a wicket. Nasir Jamali continuing from the 290 end. Down the leg side for a wide. Umpire Brown signals it. HCL Knights. Yeah, the previous one, this it's still a free hit. And it was a no ball and still a free hit. Let's see if Unmuk can free his arms a little bit on this one. Takes a swipe, but it's still a free hit, so he knew that he could free his arms. That's not his game from the get-go. Even though he can hit the big ones, he doesn't do it normally in the beginning of his innings. But one run while the Cats was taken from a free hit. Andres Gauss on strike. And he pulls up. Jamali pulls up. Pulls out of his delivery. It's still quite windy, as you can see. The trousers and the apparels flapping around. It's cold and windy day. and he works it off his pads, and that's a really nicely played shot towards deep square leg for 4. And that's the kind of game that Unmukchan possesses. He takes his time, waits for the right ball to hit the boundaries, and that was a classic example of how he builds his innings. And he will look to stay, the whole way, the whole 20 overs. And that's the kind of innings that we have seen in the past, even in minor league or other tournaments that he has been in these parts. He just keeps on playing. I think it's Andres Gauss, not Unmukchan, who played that shot. Beg your pardon. Wicketkeeper batsman, another former U19 from South Africa. That's well fielded by the fielder at the covers region. Jay Desai continuing with his left arm. Sorry, Jagrit. Jagrit is the bowler, bowling from the other
Jagrat,
end.
we saw him in the minor league. The first season he played for what was then the Austin Athletics, and he came across as a really tight bowler. Even at times he was used in the power play or towards the death of the innings. Really likes to keep a tight line and length. Doesn't give too much of a tweak at the ball. Just likes to bowl wicket to wicket. Varies his pace ever so slightly at times. Unmukt has made a pretty steady start. 11 runs for his 14 deliveries. And Roshan, from what we have seen of Unmukt, he's the kind of player who opens the batting but likes to take it deep. In the first 8 to 10 overs, he might be batting at a strike rate of 110, 115 or thereabout. But beyond that phase, he really accelerates and he's capable of closing up an innings really well.
Yeah, I think he has gotten it down to that sort of playing. Oh, they almost had a confusion. They kind of decided late to stop that run. But coming back to Unmuk, whatever I've seen him off in the Houston Open or minor league, he tends to take it deep, as you said, and he likes to build his innings and goes for his big ones maybe after the 10 overs if he gets that far. And that's a nicely lofted drive, and he's taken deep covers, and Andres Gauss is gone. That's a big wicket. For a moment, I thought it was placed well, but it was placed. The fielder was really well placed by the Houston or HCL Knights, and it went straight down his throat at deep cover. That's a big wicket.
That's
because Gauss likes to play his shots, and the combination, if they continued, I believe would have been Unmuk taking it steady and then Gauss taking it on. But he's gone. It's a big wicket. So let's see. So Munir, let's see how Unmuk takes it from here since there is two early wickets. 32 runs on board.
Yeah, I think it's been a slightly quiet power play. Not the kind of start the Houston Stars would have hoped to make. But I think they really rely on Unmukt. He's the big fish as far as HCL Knights are concerned. And he's looking steady. He really hasn't taken off, which he usually does not. You very rarely see him play out of his skin in these kind of situations. And he would just look to steady the ship, build partnerships from here. Sujit Gowda is the new batsman. He hails from Dallas, plays his minor league cricket for Irving Mustangs. And he's another good player, perfect for that number 4 position and a good partner for Unmukt. Like we were saying, Jagrit is somebody who varies his pace and likes to bowl wicket to wicket. That inside shot of a left arm spinner bowling around the wicket is not very easy, trying to go inside out. And he just couldn't create enough room and get enough power to go over that fielder at covers.
It was a nicely flighted ball. And the left arm angle around the wicket is always tough to face in general. And with that flight, he kind of deceived Gauss to playing that inside out shot. Here he comes. And just played away towards, I would say, backward point gully area. So this is probably the first time I've seen Sujit Gowda play live. Played nicely towards covers and well fielded in the covers region. So Munir, what do you know about Sujit Gowda? I mean, what's like anything that you want to let the viewers know about him?
I, to be honest, don't know a lot.
All right.
But I did watch a couple of games of Irving Mustangs when they made the trip down to Houston. We've been seeing his name pop up quite a few times in local tournaments, at the minor league level, at T20 tournaments like these. And he's what we know is he's a top order player. He doesn't come across somebody who looks to demolish bowling attacks, but rather likes to get his eye in, build partnerships. So he's one of those players. Now, we are looking at the points table from this morning. There was only one game from Group 1, as we all know, which was won by HCL Knights. So they currently sit on top of the table. And the other two teams in this group, which is now Houston Stars, they are playing. And Kingsman is also playing on one of the fields. So as this game completes, the afternoon game, we'll see the complete table update at the end of day 1. Coming back to this game, after 5 overs, Houston Stars are 33 for 2. Jagrit has crept in with 3 overs in the bowling power play, or the batting power play rather, and bowled very miserly 3 overs, 17 runs and 1 wicket.
And that is excellent bowling figures for a power play, especially from a spinner. Again, these are tough conditions.
And he picked up the huge wicket of Andres Goss. Another spinner comes in. Looks like it's Gaurav Bajaj, but we will confirm. It's Abdul Rahim Khan. So Abdul Rahim, Roshan, you can tell us about his exploits, but I think within the Houston Cricket League, he's one of the players who always inching towards that MVP. If he's not winning at a certain year, he's definitely in the top 3. He's one of those players.
I haven't seen him live much, but whenever I look at the stats in the HCL, his name seems to pop up everywhere. Basically, whether it's Player of the Week or MVP towards the end of the tournament, season, his name seems to pop up. So let's see what he has to offer in this game. Just slow and wide outside the off stump. Umpire Brown calls it a wide. 1 run added to the score. Played off the back foot. No run.
Dead ball.
He's bowling at a really slow pace, just flighting it up. The batsmen are being given a lot of time. It's almost as if you can play two shots on the same delivery. That's how slow he's bowling at this point.
Sometimes these conditions where it's blustery and the spinner wants to throw it up like that, it could go either ways. I mean, if the batsman is set, then they can take him for runs. But at the same time, if there's a slight miss hit, then it could be a wicket. That was slightly quicker, but still had a little bit of loop in it. So as I was saying, that it could either go for runs or wickets could be taken.
Yeah, and the good thing is that these two seem to have steadied the ship for the time being. They're rotating the strike pretty well, getting singles. And it's really important to get your eye in weather like this with a lot of like strong winds coming across the field. It's often not easy to read the ball if they're flighted in the air. So that's something I think that's playing through the minds of both these players, and they're trying to build a partnership at this point in time. And once they get their eyes in, they definitely can look to capitalize and change gears.
Yeah, it's very difficult to bat in these conditions too. From my experience, what I felt whenever there is a little bit of wind, especially cold wind blowing through, it's hard to keep your eyes open, right? You know, it's hard to keep your eyes open long enough to watch the ball because you tend to blink quite often. And that's why batting becomes extremely difficult. Sometimes I feel like I should wear, some sort of sunglasses or something like that to just block the wind. And I'm just wondering how these batsmen are coping with that kind of a condition. Jagrit is, I think, gonna bowl out. That is interesting, but at the same time makes sense because they want to put pressure up top. Since he has bowled his three, might as well bowl it out. So he's coming for his fourth over in a row now. Take a quick single towards the gully area. Avi Sikaram feels it and gets it back to the keeper.
Yeah, so Jagrat is going to be one of the two bowlers who are bowling their full quota of 4 overs. Mind you, this is a 17-over game. 3 bowlers will be bowling a maximum of 3 overs each, and 2 bowlers get to bowl 4 overs each. We lost about 30 minutes, which accounted towards 6 overs to be deducted from the game. So that's about 17 overs per innings.
Just on driven towards long on for a single. Another single taken towards extra cover. They're dealing in singles at this point, trying to build the partnership. Jagrit continuing. Another single. They're just dealing in singles at this point. That's the end of Jagrit's spell. And what a spell he has so far. 4 overs, 22 runs and 1 wicket. That's excellent bowling, especially bowling to these pros. And he has given the HCL Knights a very good start. Abdul Rahim Khan continuing from the Highway 290 end. Goes for a big one. Straight down the side screen. For a huge 6. That's Sujit Gora with a big strike down the ground. Off the back foot, just tucked away towards mid-wicket for a single. That was the first 6 of the innings, by the way. So after a quiet over, they have decided to kind of take it to the next gear. Slow and swept away. Didn't time it properly. Arin Nadkarni chases it down for a couple of runs. And the score moves on to 51 for 2. The 50 comes up for the Stars. And that is smashed away. That is extremely smashed. That didn't look like a slog or anything, but he seems to have timed it for a 6. That's an incredible shot by Unmukh Chand.
Just pure timing. Picked up that length pretty quickly and just went through with the shot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was like tucked away for a single, but that went for a 6.
Abdul Rahim has been bowling it really slow, not giving any pace on the ball, hoping that batsmen cannot play these kind of shots. But Unmukh just showed his class.
Yes, that's what I was saying about, a good batsman, they will be able to wait on it, and then they have the bat speed to take it on. But
Sujit now on strike to Abdul Rahim Khan. Short and wide. He waits on the ball, tries to play a cut, but there are 2 fielders behind point, so no run there. I think they've upped the ante in the last couple of overs. That run rate now is hovering around almost 8 runs per over. Given it's a 17-over game, and given how terribly my calculations were so off in the last game, I still think something in the range of 160 to 170 would be a par score. The pitches are really good. From what we have seen, there's true bounce. They're coming on the bat, and in spite of the conditions with the overnight rain, we haven't seen any devils in the pitches. Especially that first game, the batting we saw from Shehan, Jayasuriya, and all the players from Stallions. I think that would be the script for the Stars to follow. So, Roshan, 160 at least.
I think you should stop predicting scores. I mean, you. It's not going to happen here, but you set a target and that was breached within 1 over. So, but I think with these two players, especially with Unmukt in the middle, anything is possible. He has a tendency to expand his game once he sets his or gets his eye in, and with the score being at
It's 62.
and with about 10 over, how many overs to go?
We've got 9 overs to go.
9 overs to go. If you look at 10 runs and over, we're looking at around that, 160, 170. But again, they will need some big overs. The HCL Knights has a lot of youth in the team. More than half the team or half the squad is youth, and I believe here's another young star from the Houston Cricket Circle, Josh Saripella. He has excellent control over his left arm spinners.
And this is the kind of platform we talk about, and this is the kind of exposure we want our youngsters and emerging talents to have. Josh bowling to the likes of Unmukt Chand and Sujit Gowda. That one was tossed up. A foolish delivery that Sujit drives straight down the ground, goes to sweeper cover, keeps it down to 1 run. The score moves on to 63. As you can see, there is a strong wind blowing, which is causing some of our camera equipment to shake. Now this is short, gives a lot of time, and Aaron gives it a chase, but it bisects the two youngsters, Aaron and Shreyan, on the leg side boundary, and it goes for a 4.
Yeah, I mean, talking about this platform, right? I mean, as a youngster in, playing cricket, these are the situations you normally dream of, right? And Josh bowling to Unmukt Chand, he was taken for a 4, but just to be able to bowl to them or have the opportunity to bowl to them is a big thing for youngsters like them. Here comes Josh to Unmukt, cut away, fielded, and they take 2. So one of the things that you'll notice when these pros bat is that they have the knack of finding gaps. There are 2 fielders placed in the deep on the leg side, and the previous ball, or 2 balls before, swept again. Shreyan Satish fields. So even though there were 2 fielders that were placed deep, one towards square leg and one towards deep mid wicket, he was able to bisect them perfectly for that shot. Even though the ball was a little bit short, he was able to find the gap. And these are the things that these youngsters will pick up. Cut away towards point again, this time just for a single. That's the end of the over from Josh. 9 runs in that over. I believe there is a change in the bowling. Aryan Nadkarni is coming on KD Express, as he is popularly known as. There has been a tremendous improvement in his game all around in the last couple of years. Replacing Munir, we have Mr. Bhaskar Katula. Welcome, Bhaskar.
Thank you, coach. Yeah, it's a very hard weather to play cricket. However, T20 it's always about making everything happens, right? So this great day of play, and the morning game was awesome, and this game is turning to be awesome, right? The awesome thing is you see more youngsters playing. Look at that. KT Express is bowling to Sujit Kaura, a pro. Look at that. That's taken. That's an
a
awesome wicket.
And
For-
these are the kind of things that that youngsters dream of. And when they take wickets for pros like Sujit Gora, in a
Yes.
matchup like this, where you would think on paper the youngster is going to be taken apart, but on the flip side, he has taken his wicket.
Yes, coach. So you see the field set up there, right? He put up a shot of a length, and he kept the right field in there. You see that there's a mid wicket. It's straight line to the mid wicket to take the comfortable catch.
Yep, that was just short of length. Delivery that was into the body, and Sujit tried to go for a big full shot. Went high in the air, and it hung in the air for a long time, and it settled into the deep mid wicket's hands for an awesome wicket for Aryan Nadkarni. So he comes on and takes a wicket in his very first over.
This is what I was telling you, right, coach? This is awesome, right? It is not youngster or something, right? So they are up to the mark, to the pros. We're talking about Sujit Gowda playing to in minor league, an youngster U21 coming and delivering the stuff. This is awesome, right? So
Yeah, this is stuff of dreams, right, for these youngsters. Just to be able to bowl them is one thing, and it's another thing to take their wicket. And Stars are 3 wickets down. Just when these two were looking good, a wicket falls. So we have Justin Dill that's coming in, replacing Sujit Gora at the crease. And Unmuk Chand is batting on 28.
yeah,
So he's as steady as before.
yeah. So another pro joined. Justin Dill plays for St. Louis Americans for minor league. So I think he comes in a right time with the 71 for 3. I think Stars has to make the way to go to the big score.
Yep, we need to also put into perspective how these youngsters are going to hold up when the pros come at them. At this point, they're still holding their ground. Here comes Aryan, charging in.
Well, a short ball, excellent.
Keeping it tight, Aryan.
So to come to the youth point, right, coach, where this pro tournaments gets in, if you see the outside the boundaries, kids are running with the water bottles. I think that's where the kids comes with like what the game of cricket that okay, wanting to continue, we'll continue with that. Cuts away to sweeper. Josh fields.
Yeah, and as a coach for young players, that is something that I have been telling them, that even if you're outside not being part of the playing 11, there are ways you can contribute to the team, and taking their time to get their chances.
Well,
Played.
ball. That was beaten. He was steaming in. It's a great start for Aaron. He bowled 4 balls, a wicket in, and just gave away 1 run. Here comes Aaron.
Another short
Short
one
ball.
down the leg side, and let's wait for the umpire signal that he's got a little bit of bat or glove on it, and it races away to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs.
But I think the plan was correct where he was bowling, but it was too short because he has a protection in the mid wicket where he set up Sujit Gowda with that. But I think he was just too overshot at this ball.
Yeah, it was a little bit towards the leg side. That's what the line. If the line had been a little bit more straighter, the batsman would have hit it towards mid wicket. But that went down the leg side, and all Unmuk had to do was just get some bat on it.
There
And
you
he
go.
launches him off the front foot towards deep mid wicket.
It was a great shot.
That's 6 runs right there.
But overall, it was a good start for Aaron, other than that 4 and 6. Houston starts by end of 10 overs, 82 for losing 3 wickets. Unmuk Chand is on 38, and Justin Dill just came for 1.
Yeah, these are the kind of like inexperience that sometimes youth shows. When we grew up, we made the same mistakes. Is to close out overs when they have got a good start. Aaron started it well, but ended up with a 4 and a 6, and those are some of the things that he should look to improve on. It's just mental things that will come along with playing in tournaments like these, and the maturity that will come along. It's amazing to watch this little passage, because 2 youngsters, Josh and Aaron, from both the ends, bowling to pros basically. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's like, again, stuff of dreams.
Right, coach, rightly said. What can you ask for more, right? Just to continue to Unmuk, I think to Justin Dill.
Nicely flighted and driven down to long off for a single.
That's Rohan Dhawan to field. He's another U21 kid. The full delivery driven to mid on. Unmuk Chand gets 1 run.
Josh continuing. Short, and again off the back foot towards long off for a single. So 3 singles in this over so far. Swept
Swept away. Fielder.
straight to the fielder at square leg.
This is better
our curator, our manager, PBCC manager,
Waterboy,
Waterboy
DJ,
DJ,
live streaming specialist.
makes a comment that this pitch is better than the one that India and Australia are playing on. So it's a little bit of a self-promotion from Mr. Mangesh Chaudhary. Driven. Ooh, that was a great throw! Was not given from our angle. It looked like a close one, but the umpire did not give that one. That was a excellent fielding from
Rohan Dhawan.
Rohan Dhawan. Direct hit from the deep. For a moment, we thought that Unmuk was short, but he survives. Again, off the back foot to mid-off.
But the context of the game, 7 runs in this over. In a T20, it's a pretty good over, right?
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, especially to bowling to pros like Unmuk Chand, they're gonna look for you to make a mistake, and they're gonna take full toll of it.
Yeah.
And Joss has got a very good control over his left arm, as I said before, and he was able to give away only 7 runs in the previous over, which is a very good result in the context of the game.
Yeah, Houston starts 89 for 3 after 11 overs. Rohan Dhawan to start. We'll be right back. Rohan Dhawan continues, driven to mid wicket after 11.4, 94 for 3. Houston starts.
Unmukh Chand takes strike to Rohan Dhawan. The way Unmukh has built his innings is commendable because we said during the first power play it was a subdued start for the Stars, but he's picked up his pace. He's been able to nudge the ball around for ones and twos, and anything that was even slightly loose, he was able to capitalize, like he did against KD Express Arinath Kearney. And the thing is, even if you knock 12 to 15 balls around for ones and twos, and then if you receive a couple of loose balls and you capitalize and hit them for boundaries, you're still probably flying at a strike rate of 140 to 150. That's the beauty of this game. Just knowing when to attack and when to settle for singles and doubles. That's really the biggest attribute of a batsman who wants to play long in this format. That's nicely flighted. As you saw, that last delivery could have been one of the wickets to cherish for Josh, as Unmukh Chand went for the big heave down the ground, partially middle it. It wasn't sailing over the fence, and it was actually a catch that was missed by the fielder at long off, and the ball went over the boundary. Unmukh at this point knows the value he has to put on his wicket with just about 5 overs to go. 4 overs to go after this. And he comes down the ground again, goes inside out and picks that gap just to the left of long off beautifully.
Look
What
at
a
the
shot.
Look at the quality of
That's the boundary.
quality of that shot, Munir. Lofted, covered, all over